All right, guys. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to discuss a few of the different ways that we can manipulate data, or specifically in this video, how to create data. So we've got a profile model that we're going to be using, I guess, to kind of play around with it. We're going to go create new file in the server directory, and we're going to name it test.js. And now in this test file, which is specifically being used to demonstrate the different ways we can work with data, we're going to need to import our models into this file. So how we do that is we're going to specify a variable called models. It's going to be equal to require, and this is a function, and we're going to require from current directory server.js. And then after the require function, type in .models. And so now this will import all of our API models into this file. And what we're going to do is right now we're just going to play around with the profile model a little bit. And so the first thing we're going to do is create data using the create method. So this is very straightforward. We did it in the last video. Basically what we need to do is write models.profile.create. And now we're going to send in name, which is Nick. And we're going to capture either the error or the profile that we've created in this callback function. And so let's console log data with a question mark, error, and profile. So let's save this. And now in our terminal, we're going to run node server/test.js. And we'll see some of the boot scripts here as well. So we can ignore all of these. We're specifically interested in this line right here. And we can see that a profile has been created with the name Nick. When I look in MongoDB in profile, we can see it right here. Now, this doesn't coincide with how we're using profiles in our app at all. It's not tied to a user account. But again, this is just to demonstrate how to work with data. Now, the second way we are going to create data is with a method called upsert. So what upsert does is it will try and find the existing model to update it. And if it cannot, then it will create a new instance. So I'm going to leave the rest the same, and I'm going to hit save. And then in terminal, I'm going to Control-C, hit up on my keyboard, and run this again. And what we'll see is that we've got basically the same output from the previous instance. However, the ID is different. And if I refresh in Mongo, we'll see that another instance was created. Now, this is because we didn't pass in the ID. So if I wanted to grab this right here, the ID, and then inside of the object that we're actually going to upsert, we pass in ID equals this and name equals Nick. We're going to save this, and in our terminal, we're going to run the script again, and we'll see that now the output is exactly the same as the last time. And if I refresh Mongo, there's only 2 instances. Now, if I change the name to Nick1 here and save this, and then run the script again, we'll see that it returned the old data. And if I refresh, Nothing, well, actually the name has changed to Nick1. And that's because it found the existing model by the ID, and so it just updated the name. Now, the last way that we can create data is using a function similar to this that's called find or create. And it's camel case. I'm going to erase the ID here. We're going to see a little bit different behavior. So let's save this, and then let's run this in our terminal. And if I refresh MongoD, RoboMongo here, we'll see that it returned 48BF, which is this one right here. So it found it by the name, and it just used that. So if we wanted to see how this can create something, let's go ahead and add Nick2 to the name. Let's save this. I'm going to Control-C out of here, clear it, and then we're going to run the test script again, and we'll see that it created Nick2 with a new ID. And we can confirm the results by refreshing the database, and we see the third object here. So those are the three ways that we can create data. In the next video, we're going to be talking about how we can update existing data. And actually, we kind of did a little bit of that with the upsert command, but this is going to be more revolved around having an instance that we want to work with and then changing attributes.